Welcome to The Business Fighter with Henry Penix. Henry has been the CEO, founder, and consultant to hundreds of companies worldwide. He retired a multimillionaire, financially independent at the age of 35. Henry grew up a preacher's son and was thrown in jail 3 times for various altercations. He knows what it means to come from nothing and have to fight his way to the top. Henry is the business fighter who will teach you strategic skills for winning in business and in life. Don't just spectate, participate. It's time to get in the ring.
Hi, this is Henry Penix, the business fighter. Welcome to the podcast. Today I've got a true superstar on the show. She's a superstar, a super agent, a super builder, a super designer, a super decorator, a super visionary, and a super mom. When she's got her makeup on, she's a super model. So she's all of those things and more. We're doing this tonight live in front of some Europeans that we're training. We've got about 20, 25 people in the room, so it's a different atmosphere. But I wanted to introduce you to a person that has meant so much to me for such a big part of my life. She's helped me with a lot of the additions that I've done. She's helped me make some hard decisions about design, development, really all of the above. Everything that I could say, the greatest thing that I could say still wouldn't explain her or what I personally feel about her. So I wanted you guys to meet her. She says, hey, I've got my baby. I just got out of a meeting. I've got a baseball cap on. I said, I don't care. This is about being real. I don't have people on my show just because of what they can do, but I have them on my show because of who they are. What's their heart like? You'll get to see this here in a second. I'd like to welcome Amy Superstar Prosser. Amy, thank you very much. So thanks for coming over and being part of the podcast. We've been through a lot together. I met you, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, 4.5 years.
Yeah, we had a meeting at a house, and I came in, and I won't put words in your mouth. What was your impression of me when I came in?
So we actually met at a very random, coincidental meeting,
right,
which turned out not to be a coincidence. It was pretty phenomenal and supernatural. And he came in just for a regular showing, and I was just operating the same way I always do, and then we totally hit it off. He was super open and honest and forthright, and so was I. And so there was just a natural trust connection, and we just started dialoguing and honestly started dreaming and talking about things that were both on our hearts, which ended up being extremely similar. And that turned into like 12 interviews.
Yep.
Henry had me come in like 8 to 10 different times to basically see if I could actually come through with what he wanted. And they all, went beautifully. And by the end of it, we had a great relationship personally and professionally. And it's just spiraled from there.
I always teach this. You promise 8 and deliver 10. You promised 10 and delivered 100. So way to go. That means so much to me. So when I saw you, the negative thing about you was I thought, well, she's kind of young. She doesn't have the experience. I'm talking about putting in a development with $1 million, $2 million homes.
Yep.
How on earth could you really be qualified? Because I didn't know you back then.
Well, and he actually communicated to me that he had an agent who was one of the top agents in Oklahoma who'd been doing it about 45, 50 years. And then you had me.
Yeah.
And honestly, it didn't faze me. So I think that that's a big part is you have to be confident enough in yourself.
Right.
And know who you are and your identity. And then anything else doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't. Because if you're comfortable in your own skin, then you'll follow through and be passionate and other people will notice. And that was a big deal.
Absolutely.
Every time we talked about it, I said, okay,
I'm up for it.
I'll show you what I can do. I'm not worried about it. And I think that then you have to follow through with it. You can talk a big talk as long as you know how to follow through.
Yeah. So before I ask you this next question, I want to thank you first for being here. Part of you being the superstar that you are, and I mean this. I don't use the word superstar very often, but when you said you would come over and do this filming with me, you've got, how long ago did you have this baby?
He's 18 days.
18 days, and you're back down to about your fighting weight. You're running around. We just got out of a meeting an hour ago.
2 hours of outdoor meetings in 100-degree weather. So
and here we are. But you said no, I'll do it. If you want me to come over, I'll do it. And so that means the world to me.
Thanks.
So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Tell the audience just a little bit, because there's a lot of women that watch this program. There's a lot of women that watch this podcast. Tell them kind of how you got started, how you can be a mom. This is your second baby now, have such a great family, and balance all of that. I mean, start with how you got into the business, how long you've been doing it, and then how someone out there listening can also be successful in everything that they do.
My background, I've done this about 10 years, and I bought my first bank-owned property when I was 18 in Sheriff's Cell, and I basically went to a banker and told him exactly why I thought I deserved the loan and exactly what I was going to do with the property. And 2 hours later of convincing, I got the property. So I flipped it, and then right mid-flip, I'm like, I don't want to pay a realtor. So I got my real estate license while flipping the house, and then I designed it. Started there, and 10 years later, we
And
custom.
how old were you back then?
I was 18. Yeah.
18.
And then 10 years later, 12 years later, we now build $1 to $3 million homes, custom, do the development with Henry, do all kinds of business consulting. And it just spiraled. I'll say this, never ever be too big for the small things. So I used to
Say that again. Never be too big.
Never ever be too big for the small things.
Okay.
I don't care whether you're building $1 to $3 million homes or have a multi-million-dollar business, do the small things. Even then, I still to this day have retired people that we go do for a fraction of the cost just because. And so I always, back then, I was always confident enough to do the big things, but I did the small things. And then now we do the small things still.
This may seem weird, but some of the things that you may not even known you were doing with me and for me wasn't selling a lot that, for $300,000, but it was when you would go to Starbucks and bring me an extra coffee at one of our meetings, like little things that make big differences and executing on those things.
Well, and pay attention. I always say pay attention. Pay attention to the people around you. Pay attention to what's important that day. Don't get too forward thinking. Be in the moment. You have to plan ahead, but you also have to be very present. So I try to do that not only in business, but in my life. So I'm a huge believer in immersion and mixing family and business. As you can see, 2 hours of meetings outside with an 18-day-old. I mean, that's just life, you know?
So her first child, little girl, beautiful
girl.
girl.
So I have a 21-month-old too.
Amber, beautiful little girl. We had our first meeting 3 days after she was born. And you had these births at home?
Yeah,
also?
I do
no anesthetic, all that stuff.
Natural birth at home.
So I'm sitting there in a meeting with her, holding a baby about the size of my hand. 3 days, and she's at it. So
we actually designed all of our marketing. That was when we went through all of our marketing for this development, Oakleaf Estates, while she was 3 days old.
Yep.
So I had a 3-hour meeting at our home office with her. But here's what I will say that's so important to me. You don't have to be me. You don't have to want to work 70 hours a week. But be so present and passionate the time that you do work. If it's 20 hours, 30 hours, 40 hours, it doesn't matter. But be there. Be in it, enjoy it. If you're not, get out and find something else. Yeah. I love what I do. I live it, breathe it. It's my hobby. I wouldn't do it if I didn't. I bring my 21-month-old and this little guy already to showings. I had showings all day Saturday and Sunday, and I took them both. Ask the client, hey, can you hold one while I grab the other? Be okay to ask. They actually want to help. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be either or. You can do both. So,
and I will say this, I do a lot of teaching on leverage. Like use everything in your life for leverage. That's being on time, that's leverage, that's how you dress.
Which Henry and I are not always on time. I'm gonna be very honest.
That's true. But if we're not, we tell each other.
We tell each other.
Like communication's another thing. Communication is a form of leverage. How you dress for your meetings, how you present yourselves. So a piece of her leverage, and I'll let this little secret out, her little girl, and I'm sure this guy's going to be just as cute. He already is cute. But her little girl is so beautiful. When she would get calls to show lots or something,
they would ask if I was bringing her.
She would have this beautiful little girl, and she would say, oh, could you hold her? And then she wouldn't take them back until they bought a lot.
Right.
So that was a very great piece of leverage that you were able to use.
What's amazing is what I've found is a lot of people are really scared to mix their business with their personal. Yeah. A lot of people. And you will find people actually love it. I have clients, multi-million-dollar, we're doing $2 million portfolio closings, And they are so excited when I show up with Ember or Brock. They want that family dynamic. They love when I come in and tell them about, something I did on the weekend for outreach. They want to be mixed in with your life.
Because you're authentic, you're
Yeah,
true,
they-
you're real,
they
and
want
what you see is what you get.
Yeah. So I just think if people would blend it more and find a balance, not a separation, but actually blend it, people would really, really connect with you more. I just think that's huge. That's how I operate, and I honestly couldn't operate any differently, so if it didn't work, we'd be in trouble.
So I always ask people for golden nuggets, and you've already dropped 2 or 3. Thank you. This is Henry, the Business Fighter. You're listening to my podcast. I'm here with Amy Prosser, superstar real estate mom, supermodel, super everything to me, and I really appreciate that. So we're here talking about developing business, having total immersion with your business and your family. There is no line there. Her family is her business is her family. Amy, drop a golden nugget sort of on our audience of if there's somebody out there, male or female, and they're trying to take care of their family, they're trying to grow, but they really don't know where to go or what to get into. They're kind of treading water. They're trying to find their purpose. How did you find your purpose? Like what are some key tenets and goals to get that?
The biggest thing I can honestly say is try new things. Don't be afraid to try. I had no clue that this is what I was going to do. I have to be honest. It wasn't like a dream of mine as a kid. I was a finance major, and I dropped out because I decided I wasn't meant to sit in an office. I learned real fast, but I didn't know. So try something.
So you weren't afraid.
Take a course. Don't be afraid to try something new. Take a course. Go take your real estate class. You'll know real quick with pretty much anything if it's like, this isn't for me. My husband got his insurance license. 2 weeks later, he's like, this isn't for me. A year wasted? No. He now has a successful build company that he loves. So it's okay to walk away from something that's not working.
So there's really no failures in life. They asked Thomas Edison, they said, how can you fail 10,000 times? A reporter actually asked him, how can you fail 10,000 times when you're trying to invent electricity?
It's not failure.
He said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways that didn't work.
That weren't working.
So I was always learning, I was always growing, I was always investing back into myself. So that's very good. So find something you're passionate about. Don't be afraid to try other things.
Always take something good out of a terrible situation. We've had some really interesting, it's a positive way to put it, deals that you're like, oh, why did we do that? Or what was that for, in the big picture? But you'll find it. Sometimes it's years later. We did a 6-week pilot for HGTV, and we found out we hated it. And I was not meant for TV because I couldn't be this natural. They wanted the makeup and the high heels and the fake sayings, and I just was like, not for me. But what I did do is meet one of our best friends who came and was the director, but we didn't know it for about 3 years. We hooked back up, and we now do business stuff together. So you don't always know in the moment, why you're doing something. So just keep going and take the good out of it and move forward. Don't let it hold you back.
Yep. I feel like I could talk forever with you, and we probably could. We've had those 3 and 4 hour long conversations, but I think we've dropped some good golden nuggets. She's kicking me underneath the thing here that she needs to go because of the baby. So we're gonna dismiss. But Amy, thank you so much for coming out. You know what you mean to me, to the development, to every life that you touch. You always leave someone better than when you found them, and I appreciate that in you.
Thanks.
So anyway, thank you very much. All right, have a good day. Henry, the Business Fighter. Tune in next time.